Paul, Ricky, we'll talk about India in a minute, but just the top order today, what do you make of that, and I guess the way they sort of fell early?
I'll had a bit of a chat about it then. I think it's pretty fair to say that some of the boys are a bit disappointed with their batting at the top. But listening to Steve Smith talk about it as well, that the wicket was a little bit more uneven than what we thought it might have been. You could see a lot of uneven bounce with the shorter balls in particular. So the boys found it difficult to try and play those shots off the back foot. Yes, they led to a couple of dismissals, but it was more the follow-up balls and the mindset around the way that we played some of that short pitch bowling today that was the biggest concern, just listening to the boys up there then. So, and we talked about it in the meeting. We knew that that's the West Indies' point of difference. You know, they've got 4 or 5 guys in their side that are big, tall, strong guys that are going to run in and bang the ball in, and we didn't cope with it as well as we could have today. So obviously going on to India will be a different challenge there. They probably won't have anywhere near as much firepower as what the West Indies did today.
Was it, I guess, a concern when you're sort of 2 or 3 down and guys get out playing attacking shots like they did? Is it a match awareness thing as well in that sense?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Well, not a little bit, a lot actually. And I think we saw, even when Alex Carey came in today, I think he was 3 off his first 25 balls, and but he just knew that that's the way he had to play in that situation and get through some hostile bowling, knowing that they were going to have to go to their spinner at some stage, and Braithwaite was going to have to bowl, and Jason Holt was going to have to bowl a lot of overs as well. So I think he summed it up really well. I think a lot of the top order can learn a bit from the way that he played today. And as I've just spoken to the boys about then, we talk about the flat wickets here in England, and the grounds are small and the outfields are fast, but sometimes you have to respect good quality fast bowling as well and give yourself a chance to be batting on the wickets when they're at their best and batting when the balls are a little bit softer and easier to score. So I think the boys will learn a bit from that today.
There's been question marks about Mitchell Starc's temperament in the past in different situations, but he really looks like a big game bowler these days, doesn't he? Like a sort of bloke you'd like to have in your team if you're a captain.
Well, he's just become the fastest ever to 150 one-day wickets in the history of the game. So he's obviously done lots of things right through his career. I thought the way that he bowled today, particularly at the back end of the innings, was outstanding. We know what he can do with a brand new ball, and more importantly, when teams are chasing smallish totals like that one today, to have someone like him up your sleeve to be able to bowl, his last 4 overs the way he did, it's great for the team, but it's also a real confidence boost for him. He hasn't played a lot of cricket of late, come back in only his second game in probably 6 months, isn't it? So to come back and get a 5 like that today was outstanding for him. But he's still a little bit like, I think, most of the boys. We haven't played our best cricket today, but to get through with a win like that was pretty satisfying.
What do you think everyone's learned, Ricky, from facing Boomer over summer? Like, he gets the slider in and he can get the ball to straighten up a bit as well.
I think everyone's learnt that he's probably one of the best fast bowlers in the world at the moment, with a white ball or a red ball. I think that's what they've learnt. They've probably learnt that he can surprise you with pace. I think they've learnt that his control is outstanding as well, which is why he's one of the leading bowlers in the world, fast bowlers in the world. So we need to be well prepared for him. I'm sure the boys will be, having played as much against him as they have during the summer. So they also posed some pretty strong threats with their spinners as well. They were both very good yesterday, Child and Kuldeep. So yeah, some work for the boys to do. More a mindset thing. I've been really happy with the skills that I've seen from all the boys over the last few weeks. Just about getting the mindset right and getting the adaptation of that mindset right between what you need at different times in the game and playing accordingly, which some of our guys did really well. Steve Smith did it well today as well, and Coulden-Oll's innings was just one out of the basket. But good signs, but not perfect cricket just yet.
From your experience playing a team like India at this stage of the competition, winning early on against such a big nation, what can that do in terms of belief in that in the early stages of such a long tournament?
Well, I've been talking more about today. I think you take a lot of belief out of a game like today, when I think they needed 6 runs and over with 5 wickets in hand, and were able to win quite comfortably. I mean, that's you take a lot out of those sort of games as well. So let's worry about winning that game against India, and then we'll see what we can take out of it. But coming into the tournament, England and India were probably the 2 favoured sides, and we were sitting somewhere around both of those teams. So it'd be a great opportunity for just to see where we're at as a group. India have started really well. They're a quality team, and we'll have to play well to win.
How does it change? Obviously, they've played Australia a lot in Australia and in India recently. Is there anything that you expect different to be different in English conditions?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think you know what sort of wicket you're going to get where we're going. There's not too many changes in either side. Even obviously with Warner and Smith coming back into the side, it's probably a little bit different than the side that they saw in the 5 one-days over there. But I think we'll have a pretty good understanding of the way they'll play. So yeah, whoever executes the best on the day and holds their nerve for the longest in these contests tend to win, like we saw today. I mean, I think we just held our nerve a little bit longer than the West Indies did through the course of today's game, and which is the reason that we won. But I think both these teams are pretty familiar with one another, Australia and India, and whenever these two teams play, it's normally a pretty good contest. So hopefully we'll get some support at the Oval. We haven't had much yet. But we'll see.
Bumrah had a good record early, particularly early against Finch over the summer, and likewise Pat with Virat. Does that mental edge come in at all on Sunday, do you think? Head-to-head success?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. As a batsman, I know I've been through it myself. You always have in the back of your mind about a one-on-one matchup that might pop up at some stage during the game. So I'm sure Pat will be looking forward to bowling to Virat, and I'm sure Bumrah will be looking forward to bowling to Finchie. That's just the way it is. Even opposition teams tend to have that feel against one another as well. And as an individual player, just going back to a venue that you've had some success can be good for you, or going to a venue where you haven't can be the opposite of that as well. So, what's happened in the past does play a small percentage, I guess, going towards the next contest, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Sometimes things can work out a bit differently than what you're playing for as well.
Ricky, an important knock by Steve Smith today. What have you noticed about him without the responsibility of being captain that's maybe made a positive difference for him?
Oh, well, I wasn't around the team when he was captain, so I've just noticed the way he goes about his cricket. He's a very hard worker, probably to his detriment sometimes. He almost does a little bit too much batting, and sometimes we've got to try and slow him down from how much training he does do. But what I noticed with him today compared to some of our other batsmen is just how well and quickly he did assess the conditions and played a test match role really today against some test match bowling early on. Really, the way that they bowled was like in a test match, and he batted like he was playing a test match and knew that he had to be the man to get the job done for his team there and then, and that's what the best players in the world do. The best players in the world are normally the best problem solvers. They solve problems a little bit quicker than most, and I think we saw him do that today. So, look, the boys love having him back into the side. It's exactly the same with Davey and what they bring to us in the fields. Very important to us as well, their experience and just their overall fielding capabilities. So, Stephen's travelling nicely, and I'm sure you'll see him have a really successful World Cup.
How devastated was he after that catch, and where does that catch, the one Sheldon took down here on the boundary, where does that kind of rate among catches you've seen?
Well, it's one he couldn't hear from out here. There's a bit going on in the dressing room when he was called a deep square leg. But look, I was sitting up there, and when I saw him hit it and saw that it was Cottrell running around, I thought, this will be six. But somehow he managed to stick it. Actually, because I had a good angle on it. His arm was about 2 metres over the rope. He sort of caught it way behind him, and then managed to balance up and not touch the rope. So it's an amazing piece of athleticism. But I think you get pretty used to seeing that from the West Indies. If anyone's going to catch that, it's going to be a West Indian probably doing something like that.
You talk about mindset. The top order batsman Usman got hit again today, backed away and played a pretty loose shot, maybe through the offside. He was under a little bit of pressure, 2 low scores. Do you sit down and have a chat with him leading into the India game? Will he come and approach the coaches and say, "God, do you see how he's travelling?"
Yeah, he stayed away from me so far actually tonight. I haven't had a chance to sit with him yet. No, we'll definitely be talking about that. That's a big part of even my role now. I'm not going to teach him how to play a cover drive or a pull shot, but I need to know what's going through his mind in moments like that. What are you thinking about? What led to you thinking about playing a shot like that? Because if I can help in some way there just to get him through a situation like that and give him something else to think about or something different to think about, then that's, I think, a huge part of coaching. So we've had a good team chat up there then where the boys have opened up about a lot of things that happened in the game, but individually I'll catch up with all the batsmen as well before we head into the India game.
Do you have any idea, just obviously you've got so much experience, do you have any idea, despite not having spoken to him yet, what you think might be going through his head?
Not what's going through his head, because I think he's actually looked really good. I think he started his innings really well today. Punched one down the ground for 4 early on, and he got shaken up. Well, actually, I don't even know if he got shaken up. He got hit in the head, but I'm more concerned about what led to him playing that shot. What was he thinking? Was he expecting the short ball that he was going to try and help over back a point? What was he thinking? So I'll get to the bottom of it in the next 48 hours.
You previously said Marcus, you could see him batting as high as number 3. What do you like so much about Marcus? What's grabbed you about his talents?
Well, his presence, one. His ball striking ability is another one. But he's also with someone today that's probably a bit disappointed not to have made more of his opportunity today, to get in as early as he did and start well as well. I think if there's been a knock on Marcus with his batting, is that he's been a bit of a shaky, nervous starter that's taken a lot of balls to get moving. Today he didn't. Today he was nice and sharp and hit the ball nicely down the ground, hit a really good pull shot early on, and then I chatted to him just after he got out. He's pretty disappointed to get out the way that he did. We've been doing a lot of work on that sort of stuff with his batting, and I just love the overall package with him, really. If he's probably our best outfielder. He saw what he can do with the ball at the death today as well. He just gives us another string to our bow as far as the death bowling is concerned. and yeah, the boys love what he can bring to the side. So yeah, look, I'm working with him a lot on a daily basis, and I think he can have a big impact on this World Cup for Australia.
This last one, if I can. I know you said previously that there's so much data available, but you've seen these Indian guys day in, day out for the past couple of months. JL talks about giving players gold nuggets. Do you go and speak to your guys individually? Hey, I know what you can do to this bloke or this bloke. Do you take in a bit more knowledge in this game which you can help out with?
I'm going to say I didn't learn anything about any of the Indian batsmen when I was at the IPL, otherwise I mightn't get a gig back there next year. Warney will have me out of a job again like he tried to before this year's IPL. No, absolutely. I coached Rohit Sharma for a couple of years in Mumbai. I've just had a few months with Shikhar Dhawan at Delhi, but I didn't learn anything about those guys from being with them than what I didn't know before, to be honest. I mean, I'm a pretty astute watcher of the game, I think, and certainly with batsmen I sort of analyse why certain batsmen are good at hitting balls in different areas. It's the way they pick up the bat, the way they hold the bat, their back lift, their foot movement, whatever it might be. So I don't think I've learnt any more about them having been a part of the IPL. It's a different format as well, obviously, but I think we saw yesterday again, or a couple of days ago, how good Rohit Sharma is at the top of the order for them. He's a class player. So, and I'm not the only one. I mean, Steve Smith shared dressing rooms with a lot of the players as well. So, as a coach, yes, I can bring some stuff, but I think a lot of the players in our team have played with these guys with them and against them over the years. So if I can add a couple of gold nuggets, then I try to do my best.
How do you get rolled out?
I'm not going to tell you that here because you'll read about it in the paper tomorrow, won't you?